Hey, hi, hello. This is Cleverly Jones, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're here to discuss episode 2 of Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God. So, episode 2 opens up with Father of All Grace, who is Jason. Jason gives us a little bit about his background, how he worked as a manager at a Blockbuster. And the crazy part is, Jason is an interesting character, and that's is saying something given the subject of this documentary. But Jason is the wildest of them all. I love this scene where they cut to the memorial of Amy. It's a picture of her and Jason with weed and a candle. I was like, okay, it's a little memorial. So they talk about how Jason actually lived on the street before he came over to join Amy. The reporter lady lists his criminal charges, which are pretty bad. I'm not going to list them because this is YouTube. But then she tops it off by saying, "Oh, they're not that bad. They're not, the worst charges, but he's still a criminal." And it's like, he's a criminal. He didn't have the best charges. Jason begins to overrun the house. He declares the house his, and he starts to cause havoc throughout the house. You can tell that none of the other members like Jason. They even have a scene where Jason says, "Oh, I'm vulgarly displaying my power." So he is basically destroying the peace of the household. At that point, members begin to question Amy and ask her, is she sure that Jason is the real Father God? But she states that, even though he has bad behavior, your ability to love him will put you on a higher plane. From there, we go back into Amy's story. They let us know that Amy got pregnant at 19 from a guy that she met at a party. And then shortly after, she had another child, and she had a series of bad relationships. Her mother ended up taking custody of her kids. Amy then had a third kid in another bad relationship. So I wonder how much this, played a part into her childhood. Her mother touched on her and her father arguing and having fights, but I wonder how deep that went and if that played into her decision making of her relationships and the guys she chose as she became an adult. They let us know that when Amy left, she got up and left during a birthday dinner. So she just kind of walked out of everyone's life. She left her kids with her mom. She just got up, like, excuse me, and just walked out. And they thought she was coming back, and Amy never came back. The show reveals to us that Jason is a meth addict. And because of that, he made the household very volatile. The crew ends up packing up and moving to Oregon. They left Jason. Now, most of the members go to Crestone, Colorado, and they camp out for 6 weeks. They overrun the cafes and they use all the free internet in town. And they overrun the cafes because they have to keep the businesses up and running. Jason makes it back. He says he travels 500 miles with 11 cents in his pocket, and he makes it back to Amy. I believe Amy called him and told him where she was at. And if not, he probably could narrow it down from the live streams. I'm sure they weren't quite about where they have moved to. Eventually, everyone moved out of the trailer, Amy and Jason, and they brought a house. Now, when they get to Crestone, Colorado, a lady notifies them that they were in a stage 3 drought. And that becomes important because their house ends up burning down. Erin burns down the house because she's burning sage. One of the members said she grabbed Amy's vodka and ice in lieu of grabbing her laptop. Like, how crazy is that? You won't grab your laptop, but you'll grab vodka and ice. Like, you can't replace vodka and ice. I mean, you can replace the laptop too, but it's very difficult, with all your information on it. Michael ended up finding them a house in Crestone, Colorado. They had to renovate the house because the house wasn't in the condition to move in. And they let us know that the members stayed up under Amy all day. They kind of equated it to Jesus and his disciples. So there they talked to her all day. They laid in her room all day. They documented everything she did, whether she sneezed, if she moved, if she went to the bathroom, when she ate. That's pretty much what the members did all day. And it was funny that the speech that they cut to during that part Amy was talking about cutting cords and cutting ties. And I thought that was fitting for a cult, or interesting to say, because, when you join a cult, a lot of people they cut ties with their family members. They don't have any contact with the outside world. They're isolated. They only have contact with the members in the cult. So it was interesting that they cut to that part. Amy began to make some of the members oracles, and the members develop a live stream. They cut to where some of the members notice that the money that they're generating from the live streams and their product sales isn't equally distributed. They get turned down for things that they want, but Amy ends up getting everything that she wants. Food is restricted for the members. They can't eat much of anything at all. And this is mainly due to Amy, who has an eating disorder. Her mom states that she had some issues with the food and being overweight as a kid, but it seems like the mom was in denial about it. The mom did state that Amy loves attention. All the members begin to refer to themselves as disciples. And then they go to a scene where they're talking about their childhood traumas. And to me, that just confirms that they all bonded over trauma, basically. They show Amy drinking a lot. Yeah. And again, to me, if she was Mother God, she wouldn't she wouldn't need alcohol. God doesn't need alcohol. Then we get to a scene where they talk about Ashley's story. Ashley is one of the members, and her mom is talking about her story and how she was a product of divorce, and she believes that is where Ashley began to stray from her. Ashley's mom begins to start a Facebook group to help other family members who are trying to find their kid and want them to get out of that cult. The change in Amy's attitude is apparent through the live stream. So you can tell during the live streams that she's drunk, and she isn't even on camera during the live stream. She's in the back room somewhere, but you can hear her screaming and ranting and raving. And so this makes the parents concerned, the members, you can tell they're concerned, but they try to play it off as society stressing Amy out. And that's why she's acting the way she's acting instead of her acting drunk. And then they bring Robin Williams back into it and say, when she's drunk, they see Robin Williams. Let that man rest. Like, why Robin? When Amy gets drunk and passes out, Jason takes that opportunity to terrorize the members of the household. And then we cut to a scene where Jason believes he brought the darkness to Amy. He believes that he is making Amy sick. And you can clearly tell that she's starting to get sick. Amy's feet begins to hurt, and she manages the pain through alcohol use. You can see that her skin is breaking out. She's losing weight. And for some of the members, they think that the alcohol is what is keeping Amy alive. And my thing is, like, at this point where you see her going through all these physical changes, why not take her to a doctor? I know they didn't believe in doctors, but I don't even think they believed in what they were saying. They weren't very convincing. You could tell with some of the videos where they're like, hey, we're waiting on Galactica, we're waiting on this. Like, you can tell they really don't have a strong belief. Like, they're just going along to get along. So it's like, if you see this lady actively getting sicker, why not take her to the doctor? At this point, Amy can't even walk on her own. She uses Jason to carry her around. The members suspect that Amy has liver failure. And so basically they begin to prepare for Amy to ascend at this point. But Amy, in her mind, could only ascend if she got down to a weight of 105, I believe it was. That's crazy that you could be that sick and still so caught up in your mental illness that you still feel like you have to be at a certain weight in order to ascend to heaven. When Amy is getting sick, she reaches out to her family. But before that, Amy says she's going to ascend. And so again, they're out there, they're waiting on the Galactics. They're thinking they're going to come and get Amy, and that's not what happens at all. It's a huge letdown. So Amy does end up, calling her family, letting them know she's sick. She talks to her daughter. She let her know she's sick. And the mom, they do cut to a scene where the mom, and they ask the mom, why didn't she go visit Amy? And she just flat out admit that she was scared. And I can't blame her, because you haven't spoken to your daughter in all this time. I don't know if the mom saw the live streams online. I'm thinking she has. So I can see that being a scary situation. This person that you haven't seen in years, and they just physically look different than when you last saw them. Not only do they look different, their mental state is different. So I can understand a mom being scared, and even a mom being scared since she had custody of the children to introduce that back into the children's lives. So I can understand her hesitation with that. Amy continues to take the colloidal silver to counteract the alcohol use. She's drinking half a liter of colloidal silver a day. Like, that's a lot. And then Amy begins to turn blue. They knew she was expiring, but they never took her to the doctor. Amy's sister at this point tries to do a health and welfare check. She calls the cops and asks them to go and check on Amy, but there's nothing the cops can do. Amy's a grown woman. If she won't come, they can't make her come. So there's not much that they can do. But at that point, her sister does realize that there's some mental health issues with Amy, and she really wants to get her help. It was crazy to me how the members admitted that they refused to take her to the hospital. The members instead want to move her to Hawaii and feel like she can ascend in Hawaii, but this will be a better spot for her. So I thought that was that was nuts. It's like, this lady is sick. Please get her to a doctor. So this episode ends there. They cut to a scene where they're going to Hawaii and people are throwing rocks, and people in Hawaii don't want her there. So if you like my review, please click the thumbs up button. Please subscribe. I have no subscribers. I'm trying to grow my channel, so please subscribe. Comment down below if there was anything that you think I missed or anything that stood out to you. And thank you for watching my review. Have a great day.